From the moment the world was nothing more than a dark and unforgiving place where every heartbeat was a silent struggle to survive, Levi Ackerman's life began in the depths of despair. In the murky, cramped corridors beneath civilization, where the only light came from the flickering glow of makeshift fires and the whispered sounds of hungry souls, Levi was born into a life defined by hardship. The early days of his existence were etched with the cold reality that mercy was scarce, and every moment demanded the hard-earned price of endurance. Even as an infant, his eyes seemed to burn with an intensity beyond his years, a promise that some small spark of defiant hope burned deep within him, waiting to blaze forth. In these formative moments, the darkness of the underground enveloped him. The world of the forgotten was unforgiving. Every narrow passage, every echo in the damp corridors carried the weight of those who had suffered before him. For Levi, the sounds of sorrow mingled with the occasional soft laughter of children trying to find joy in the bleak surroundings. It was in this place, a subterranean world of abandonment and grit, that his spirit began to form. In the quiet hours before the world fully awoke, when even the distant hum of hardship seemed to pause in gentle reprieve, Levi's determination was nurtured. Every cold night, every whispered promise of survival contributed to a slow, unyielding growth that would one day define him as a warrior. As time moved inexorably forward, the harsh lessons of the underground came to shape his very being. Levi learned that the only way to withstand a world devoid of kindness was to embrace the solitude of one's own will. Every struggle etched a lesson upon his heart. Even when the world was unkind, the fragile hope that life could become more than mere survival began to kindle quietly inside him. It was an inner light, small yet resilient, that urged him to rise above the darkness. A silent vow that one day, despite everything, he would emerge stronger and more unyielding than fate would allow. The bitter chill of early life gradually gave way to a determined yearning for something beyond the squalor of the underground. It was as if beneath every hardship there lay a soft promise of change. In those silent, lonesome hours, Levi would sometimes press his small hands against the cold, rough walls, imagining that someday these very walls might crumble and give way to the sky's gentle embrace. There was a quiet resolve in his eyes, even then, a spark that hinted at a future where he would break free of the invisible chains that bound him. That promise, so tender and yet so defiant, slowly grew into a steady flame, one that would carry him from the perils of his early existence to the harsh, stormy world above. The day finally came when Levi, guided by a resolute inner call, emerged from the suffocating darkness of the underground. Stepping into a world of harsh sunlight and brutal air, he beheld a reality that was as terrifying as it was vast. A world in which colossal beings roamed unchecked, a world where titanic monsters threatened the very remnants of human life. The surface was a realm of brutal, unyielding nature, a harsh wilderness where survival depended on swiftness, precision, and an ironclad will. Yet even in this unforgiving domain, the lessons of the underground burned inside him, transforming his quiet determination into a potent resolve. Every step on the uneven ground was measured and deliberate. Every breath he took was a silent defiance of the cruel fate that had marked his beginnings. In that expansive, chaotic new world where titans roamed and ancient titanic scars marred the landscape, Levi Ackerman became more than just a survivor. He transformed into a living force of nature. His body, honed by years of hardship and tempered by the relentless grind of an unforgiving environment, moved with a grace that belied the fierce brutality of the battles he faced. Every movement was a study in precision and restraint, an unspoken dance where each calculated strike was both a shield against the darkness and a beacon of hope for what might still be. His eyes, cool and unyielding, reflected not only the pain of loss, but also the quiet determination that had been forged in the crucible of endless despair. As Levi walked the scarred paths of a titan-infested world, the echoes of his early life remained with him like whispered specters, the soft memories of a distant time in the underground, of every shared morsel, every small act of kindness that had been his only solace, intermingled with the relentless challenges he now faced on open ground. Yet in every hardship, there was a lesson, and every sorrow carried a quiet promise of endurance. Slowly, like the gentle, unceasing beat of a drum, the resolve that had been nurtured in darkness blossomed into a rare kind of strength, one that allowed him to move fluidly through battles and to harbor a hope that was both tender and formidable. The very nature of Levi's existence was transformed as he began to learn the ways of the Survey Corps, a unit tasked with facing the monstrous titans that roamed the surface. Amid the chaos of these brutal battles, where life and death danced together in the roaring winds, Levi's presence was like a solitary beacon of calm. His every move on the battlefield was marked by an almost otherworldly precision. His actions were as silent and deliberate as the turning of the tide. Though the Titan's roars could shake the very ground beneath him, his steely gaze remained fixed, and the quiet strength of his spirit shone ever brighter with each passing confrontation. It was a world where violence was inevitable, yet even here, the unspoken promise of redemption and the quiet beauty of perseverance resonated softly in the stillness between clashes. Even as the battles raged with deafening intensity, in the rare moments of solitude that followed the chaos, Levi found a tender comfort in the gentle observations of nature. As the sun's first light crept over a desolate battlefield, the soft rustle of winds through broken columns and the distant cry of a lone bird offered subtle reassurance, a reminder that beyond the violence lay a fragile chance for renewal. These moments of reflection, though fleeting and fragile, became the reservoir from which he drew strength. A silent meditation that transformed every aching scar and every tear shed into a quiet hymn of defiant hope. And with each new day, as the relentless march of time carried him further from the squalor of his beginnings, Levi Ackerman's journey unfolded as a testament to the sheer resilience of the human spirit. Thus, from the dark, narrow corridors of a forgotten underground to the open, ferocious expanse of a shattered world, Levi's early life was etched in quiet sorrow and a determined promise to rise above his circumstances. His story is not one of fleeting triumph, but a slow, measured evolution, an endless saga of survival, of silent battles fought within the heart, and of a resolve that grew with the soft persistence of an unyielding tide. Every word, every breath, every stride in the desolate light of the surface was imbued with a solemn understanding that life, no matter how bitter or harsh, held within it the potential for gentle renewal. And so, the journey of Levi Ackerman began. A continuous, unbroken chain of hope, forged in the crucible of relentless adversity and nurtured by the soft, enduring flame of resilience. In the long, relentless days that followed his emergence into this brutal new world, Levi Ackerman embraced the harsh reality that survival demanded not only physical prowess, but also an inner strength that could defy the relentless tide of despair. The early days in the Survey Corps were a crucible of transformation. Each mission, each encounter with titanic horrors became an intricate lesson etched into his very being. In the stillness of early dawns, when the world seemed to hold its breath before the onslaught of battle, Levi would train with an almost meditative focus. Every movement was deliberate, every strike as measured as the gentle pull of the sea's tide. The skills he honed were not only for the sake of combat, but for the quiet determination to safeguard those who had been left to languish in the shadow of insurmountable odds. As he ventured further into the open expanse, where colossal titans threatened to crush the remnants of human hope, Levi's reputation grew, quietly, like the rising dawn. His movements, almost poetic in their precision, allowed him to dance between the monstrous forms with an unyielding grace. In each confrontation, he exhibited a mastery that was not born of arrogance, but of a deep, introspective understanding of his own limits and the delicate balance between attack and evasion. Amid the cacophony of titanic roars and the brutal clashes of battle, his presence was a soft testament to the resilience that only hardship can forge. Yet every victory came at a cost. In the heat of combat, every narrow escape, every enemy vanquished, was accompanied by a silent echo of the sacrifices of his past. The memories of suffering endured in the darkness of his early life would surge forth in quiet flashes. A child's distant cry, the warm taste of a shared word of kindness amid the cold, unyielding clamor of survival. These recollections, though tender and often painful, became the foundation upon which his indomitable will was built. They were the soft, persistent undercurrent that reminded him that even in the fiercest storm, the smallest flicker of hope could ignite a beacon of resilience. Amid the tumult of ongoing battles, there were fleeting hours of quiet reflection, moments when the chaos subsided into a gentle lull, and Levi found himself alone with the soft murmur of nature. In those serene intervals, as the first rays of sunlight gently illuminated a scarred landscape, and the distant cries of battle softened into the whisper of the wind, he allowed himself to remember a time before despair had taken hold. The echoes of a long-forgotten laughter, the tender murmur of a voice from a distant past, and the soft, unyielding promise of a better tomorrow became his silent confidants. In these hallowed moments, as he would close his eyes, breathe deeply, and let the gentle cadence of his heartbeat guide him, a soft rhythm that spoke of a determination not to be broken by the relentless march of time. But life in the Survey Corps was a ceaseless trial. Every mission into the realm of the Titans was a ballet of survival, a slow, deliberate dance against overwhelming odds. In the midst of the harsh reality of battle, Levi's every movement was a quiet prayer. Each dodge, each counterattack was executed with the precision of a master sculptor carving hope out of despair. The skills he developed in these moments were a confluence of harsh training, whispered traditions from those who had come before him, and the silent determination to never surrender to the crushing weight of fate. He learned that there could be no respite in the chaos, that every spare moment of calm was both a fragile gift and a reminder of the relentless struggle that defined his existence. Even within the camaraderie of his comrades, there was an unspoken solitude that accompanied him. In fleeting glimpses, shared smiles in the aftermath of victory, the quiet nod of understanding among fellow soldiers, one could see the gentle remnants of a lost innocence that he carried deep within his heart. Yet despite the brief solace offered by such moments, the weight of his past, the burden of sacrifices made in silence, would always resurface. The quiet agony of knowing that every moment of happiness came at the expense of an unspoken promise, a promise he had made to himself long ago in the cold, unforgiving underground, was a constant companion that both haunted and strengthened him in the long corridors of his daily life as he moved with an effortless grace that belied the harsh lessons of his youth. Levi Ackerman became both a symbol of silent defiance and a quiet reminder of the fragile spark that burns within even the darkest souls. His story, a measured blend of pain and perseverance, was unfolding with the inevitability of the tide, each moment adding a new, soft verse to the elegy of his life. The gentle resolve in his eyes, though marked by sorrow, shone with a determination as constant as the stars above, a determination to forge a future where even the most ravaged heart could find the strength to dream again. And so, within the unyielding expanse of his transformative journey, Levi's life emerged as a quiet testament to the enduring power of the human spirit. A spirit that, despite the endless onslaught of cruelty and loss, would continue to seek solace in even the smallest vestiges of hope. Every decision he made, every calculated step taken along the perilous paths that led him from darkness into a dangerous, uncertain light, was imbued with the soft determination of a warrior who had learned that true strength often lay in the quiet moments between the storms, in the delicate balance of each breath, in the soft rhythm of his heartbeat. There existed an unspoken promise that the pain of the past could one day yield to the tender warmth of redemption, as the relentless tide of days and battles blurred into a seamless continuum. Levi Ackerman's journey became not only a testament to physical strength, but also a profound meditation on the nature of sacrifice and renewal. The memories of his tormented beginnings, a time filled with the bitter chill of solitude and the soft lament of survival, remained etched into his very soul, shaping every gesture, every thought, and every silent vow. In moments of quiet contemplation, when the tumult of battle gave way to the gentle whisper of the wind, he would often lose himself in reflections of what had been and what might yet be. The soft glow of dawn over a scarred battlefield, the hushed murmur of a distant stream, the fleeting warmth of a sunrise breaking through the dark clouds of despair. All these were gentle reminders that even amidst ceaseless suffering, there existed a delicate promise of hope. In the midst of the raging storms that characterized life on the front lines, the Survey Corps and their relentless struggle against the titanic forces, Levi found that his true strength was not measured solely in the lethality of his strikes, but in the quiet resilience of his spirit. His every movement, a precise, harmonious blend of speed, grace, and deadly accuracy, spoke of a soul that had been tempered by anguish, yet never completely broken. The countless hours spent training under the harsh tutelage of battle had taught him that every act of defiance was a step toward reclaiming a future defined not by the tyranny of despair, but by the quiet, enduring light of determination. Amidst the chaos of tactical maneuvers and the thunder of monstrous roars, there were moments when silence would descend like a gentle veil upon the battlefield. In those rare, hushed interludes, Levi would find himself alone beneath a canvas of stars, his mind wandering across the landscapes of memory. The pain of years spent in darkness, the bitter taste of solitude, and the soft, unyielding yearning for a time before the world had been marred by conflict. All these sensations would converge into a quiet monologue within him. In that solitary whisper of the soul, he recalled the tender fragments of his earliest days, a time when hope was barely a murmur, yet still glimmered in the soft laughter of a distant memory. These moments of quiet reflection, though few and far between, were like gentle oases in a desert of sorrow, a time to gather strength and renew the promise that had been kindled so long ago. Each silent night, as the cool air mingled with the soft rustle of leaves, served as a reminder that life was a continuum of fleeting joys and unspoken sacrifices. And though the wounds of the past were deep and often ache with the weight of loss, they were also the seeds from which a resilient spirit could grow. A spirit that, no matter how many battles it faced, would continue to shine like a beacon of gentle hope against the encroaching darkness. As Levi pressed onward on the arduous path that fate had laid before him, the quiet symphony of his inner world grew ever more intricate, a tapestry woven from the soft threads of sorrow, determination, and the unyielding drive to protect those who still clung to fragile dreams. His actions, measured and deliberate, became a living meditation on the power of resilience. Every calculated step and every soft, lethal strike was imbued with the weight of 1,000 lost moments. A quiet testament to the strength that comes not from the absence of pain, but from the decision to rise, time and again, above it. The battlefield, with all its chaos and tumult, was not only a stage for physical combat, but also a forum for the quiet expressions of the human spirit. In the midst of clashing titans and the desperate cries of those who fought to survive, Levi's calm presence was like a gentle whisper of sanity, a soft assurance that even in the darkest hours, the promise of redemption could still flicker faintly. His eyes, reflective pools of both sorrow and determination, carried with them the full weight of his experiences, a silent narrative of a life molded by both immense hardship and a deep-seated conviction to persevere. In those quiet, unyielding moments when the fury of battle subsided into a melancholic lull, Levi's memories flowed forth like a gentle stream, an unbroken current of reflections that carried the weight of every sacrifice made and every hope that had been kindled against all odds. Each recollection, whether tender or painful, became a silent prayer for the future, a quiet belief that even the most scarred and battle-worn heart could find solace in the promise of a new beginning. His life had become an endless interplay between memory and aspiration, a continuum of soft-spoken resilience that refused to be extinguished by the passing storms. Every day was a quiet testament to the delicate balance between duty and desire, a balance that demanded not only the swift precision of a warrior, but also the soft, enduring strength of a soul that had known immeasurable loss. As Levi continued to forge his path amidst the relentless onslaught of monstrous foes and the overwhelming tide of despair, the tender spark within him, though battered by countless hardships, burned with an unwavering light. It was a light that spoke of the possibility of transformation, of a future where the relentless sorrow of the past might someday give way to the gentle promise of peace. In this ongoing journey, where every clash of titanic might was interlaced with the silent harmonies of hope, Levi Ackerman emerged as more than a mere soldier of survival. He became a quiet icon, a symbol of the unbreakable human spirit that endures even when the entire world seems to be steeped in darkness. His life carved out of the harsh realities of despair and refined in the crucible of countless battles, was a never-ending ode to the power of perseverance, a soft, enduring melody that continued to resonate long after the echoes of conflict had faded away, as the final chapter of Levi Ackerman's lifelong odyssey unfurls like a quiet epilogue beneath the vast starlit sky. The tapestry of his existence is woven together with threads of sorrow, strength, and quiet, enduring hope. In these final hours of reflection, every whispered memory of his tormented beginnings, every silent triumph on the battlefield, seems to coalesce into a gentle testament to the true essence of survival and sacrifice. Levi's journey, marked by relentless hardship and punctuated by moments of profound introspection, has left an indelible imprint upon the hearts of those who dare to dream, even amid a world darkened by despair. Now, in the stillness of a moonlit night, as the cool air gently caresses the battered remnants of a once thriving world, Levi finds himself standing at the crossroads of his own destiny. Every breath, every measured heartbeat is a quiet declaration that even the deepest scars can be transformed into the fuel for a steadfast spirit. The memories of his youth, the faint laughter of days long past, the soft murmur of shared moments that once promised hope, linger like fragile echoes in the recesses of his mind. And yet, intertwined with these tender recollections is the stark, unyielding truth that the path to redemption is paved with loneliness and sacrifice, and that sometimes the greatest act of love is the willingness to bear the heaviest of burdens alone. In these final reflective hours, as Levi contemplates the cost of every decision and the unspoken weight of duty, his thoughts turn to a future where the endless cycle of sorrow might finally be broken. He envisions a world where the light of a new dawn could rise over the ruins of endless warfare, a world where the sacrifices of the past would eventually give way to a fragile yet unyielding hope. Every memory of loss, every ghost of a long-forgotten promise becomes a gentle reminder that even in the aftermath of the greatest despair, there is always the potential for quiet renewal. The silent strength that has carried him through every trial is now a beacon, a soft, persistent glow that promises that the relentless march of time may one day heal the deepest wounds. The echoes of Levi's journey, whispered in the rustling of leaves and carried on the gentle wind, are a testament to the transformative power of the human spirit. Even as the chaotic symphony of the battlefield recedes into the distance, the soft cadence of his resolve remains, a steady rhythm that has outlasted every challenge and every moment of profound loss. In this tender, sorrowful twilight, his life is laid bare as a continuous epic of quiet heroism, a narrative that speaks of the unspoken battles fought in solitude, and the gentle promise of a brighter future forged in the crucible of sacrifice. In the soft darkness of his final vigil. Levi's eyes, reflecting the tender glow of distant stars, seem to hold the accumulated wisdom of a lifetime spent in quiet rebellion against fate. They speak of a soul that, despite unspeakable loss, has clung to the belief that every end is but a prelude to a new beginning. The delicate remnants of childhood, whispers of joy, fleeting moments of warmth, remain embedded in his very being, serving as a balm for the wounds inflicted by the cruel march of time. These precious memories, though tinged with sorrow, are the gentle musings that fuel his undying resolve, a vow that no matter how harsh the reality, the promise of peace and renewal endures. As the long, starlit night deepens, and the soft sigh of the wind through shattered ruins forms a gentle lullaby, Levi's legacy emerges as an eternal ode to the unbreakable will of a solitary heart. His quiet determination, cast in the mold of endless sacrifice, stands as a poignant reminder that true strength is found not in loud declarations of valor, but in the silent, unwavering commitment to protect even the smallest ember of hope. In the muted glow of the moonlight, each soft word of his journey resounds like a delicate hymn, a soft, eternal promise that even the deepest sorrow can, with time, give way to the tender light of a new dawn. In these final pages of his story, as the gentle murmur of distant memories blends with the soft echo of his resolute steps, Levi Ackerman's life becomes a timeless meditation on the fragile balance between loss and hope. It is a quiet narrative that invites us all to believe that even in the harshest, most relentless world, there exists the power to transform pain into quiet beauty, sorrow into steadfast strength, and despair into the promise of renewal. His journey reminds us that every silent sacrifice, every tender moment of introspection, is a part of an enduring epic, a soft lullaby that whispers of the infinite possibility of change. As you surrender to the gentle embrace of sleep, let the soft echoes of Levi's life guide your thoughts, wrapping you in the comforting layers of resilience and quiet determination. May the timeless saga of his journey, etched with the bittersweet hues of sacrifice and hope, carry you into a peaceful slumber, where every heartbeat is a gentle affirmation of the unyielding spirit that lives within us all. Good night, and may the soft, unbroken cadence of Levi Ackerman's legacy lead you to a realm of tranquil dreams, where the promise of a brighter tomorrow shimmers softly on the horizon.